What's going on, Garage Gang? Matt from GarageMC here. Yeah, guys, skipped last week. Didn't have any time whatsoever to make a video, but in today's video, we're going to be working on the Raptor 700. I have a big video that I've been filming like in my free time over the past 2 weeks. We got a ton of stuff for this quad. Big pile of stuff I still got to do. Waiting on another part to come in that's going to complement what we're doing today. But in today's video, let's install this stuff. I got a Tusk adjustable width rear axle. Well, axle, not rear axle. There's only one. An aftermarket axle carrier, and I also got the parking brake block off plate because the previous owner, all they did was disconnect it and just zip tie it together. If you guys are new to the channel, this is what we do here: builds, repairs, flips. If you guys follow the channel faithfully, the 465 is right here. Waiting on shocks for this thing, guys. So, you know, it just is what it is. I'm waiting on stuff. It takes almost 2 months to get the shocks that I ordered. That's the name of the game, though. No big deal. No rush. If you're new to the channel, guys, 400EX, stroke to a 465EX. Port and polished head, stage 2 cam, kibble white valve train, Lone Star. Anything that Lone Star made for this quad is on this quad, including the subframe. Lot of money. Lot of money. I want to see this thing done more than you guys do. Trust me. Not rushing it, though. Empire exhaust. If you're new to the channel, guys, check out some of my older videos. This is a build that I've been going back and forth on for like the past year. Just can't seem to get off my ass and finish it or be happy with what is and just complete it. So, you know, it's just one of them things, but we're rounding home base on this one. Not third, we're coming up to home on it. So be sure to check those videos out and stay tuned, guys. This will be soon. Once the shocks come in, we're gonna slap the rest of this quad together, and I'm just gonna be happy with the way it is. There's no more swapping stuff or raising a bar anymore, whatever. But anyway, let's get into today's video. Stay tuned. Alright, guys, so I'm not a certified mechanic. This is just a hobby of mine. I will share the torque specs for what we're going to do today with you. However, I'm putting an aftermarket axle on, so, you know, it's a little different, but I'll give you torque specs as far as, like, what it says in the manual for, like, OEM replacements or something like that. You could rebuild these carriers. I'm just going to opt to put a new one in, so that's what I'm doing. I did a couple other things to the quad, but you guys will see it in not next weekend's video. Next weekend we'll be doing the front end of the quad. I got a 6 set of A-arms and shocks for this quad. So next Sunday will be that, and then the following one, hopefully I'll have everything done to where I can put that video out for you guys. That video is going to be over an hour long, so some of you guys like the longer form content videos. But all right, let me get set up. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to wash the quad. You always want to have everything nice and clean before you work on something. So let me do that real quick, and then we'll pick up by putting this thing up on the lift. So before we start taking this all apart, guys, while this is still, the caliper's still bolted on to the swing arm and everything's all locked down, I want to get this parking brake assembly out of the way. I had already broke these free. There's a 2 12mm bolts here, and I will bag and tag and keep all of my OEM parts like I normally do. So this is the whole assembly here. Going to swap out to this here. We can get rid of this old gasket because this does have an O-ring integrated in it. This part here is made by Nice CNC. They really stepping their games up, guys. You know, some of their stuff's pretty nice. Yes, I know I'm not a fan of Chinese stuff myself either, but it's a chunk of billet aluminum. Like, you know, how much can you, what was it, fits, you know? Don't matter to me that it wasn't $100 more with some brand name on it that you wait weeks for. So this is what I went with. Plus there was already a bunch of nice CNC parts on the whole quad, so instead of rebuying everything, you know, I just went ahead and just picked up more stuff just to complete the ensemble. But the new parking brake block off plate comes with its own hardware, stainless steel. They look like either 5 or 6mm Allen head. Yep, 6mm Allen head that comes with it. You can use thread locker on here, like a medium strength blue, or like I'm going to do, anytime you're putting stainless steel hardware into anything that's aluminum, I'm going to go ahead and put some anti-seize on there, because it will, if you don't use some type of thread lubricant or anything like that, it will eventually seize and gall to the parts. The threads will anyway, and we ain't got time for that type of shit around here. We ain't got no type of time for shit like that. All right, so now that we got that plate out of our way, the next thing I'm going to do, guys, is there's before I even jack the quad up and start taking the wheels off, I'm going to use the brakes and the weight of the quad still on the ground to I'll have Emily come out and hold the rear brake so I can break this axle nut free. There's also 2 set screws. They are 3mm Allen heads. There's one on this side, and at 180 degrees from it, there's a second one. There's only 2. I'll share the torque specs with you guys on some of this. So for factory, shit, if I can remember this off the top of my head, what was it? The set screws are 5.1 foot-pounds. The axle nut is a whopping, wait for it, 170 foot-pounds, which is like crazy. The pinch bolts go to 15 foot-pounds. The hubs, the nut that holds the center hub together, and yes, these are brand new wheels and tires that I just got. You guys will see in the long video on this, and I'll show you guys some of the stuff I got too before we end this video. But the hub nut goes to 30. No, hold on, wait. I wrote this stuff down for a reason, and I already forgot what I wrote down. I think I was on point pretty much though. Yeah, hubs 145 foot-pounds. Pinch bolts, I was right, 15. Axle nut, I was right, 170. The set screws for the axle nut are 5.1 foot-pounds. And then also, when you're doing this, you're gonna have to set your chain slack. The chain slack with the quad jacked up off the ground, you should have anywhere from 25 to 35 millimeters of up and down play with the chain. So what I'm going to do off camera real quick, guys, I'm going to have her hold the brakes, and I'm going to crack that axle nut free, and then we'll pick up and start pulling this stuff off the quad. Alright, guys, I went ahead and took the rear wheels off. I'm impatient and I couldn't find Emily, so I took a clamp and just clamped the master cylinder up, which is the same as pushing the foot pedal down. I took the wheels off, like I said. Those are just 14 millimeter. And this actually broke free. Yeah, it broke free really a lot easier than I was expecting it to. So now I'm going to take off the outer hub nut, because the axle is going to go out the left side of the quad like this. So once you take this stuff off, take the caliper off, we slide the brake rotor and hub off of the axle after we take the hub off, which I'll do on camera with you guys. Then we can put the nut back on there with a block of wood and pound the axle out. Hopefully she just comes free, but this is why we're putting an axle carrier. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hold on. If you can't see it, you can definitely hear it. That is the, look at it. She's got the tiniest bit of play. So that's why we're doing this, and you guys know how I am. We're going to do an axle carrier. We're going to upgrade the axle too. That's just how we rock around here. But, all right, let me set you guys up on the tripod, and I'll take these hubs off and slide this puppy out. We got our hub nut loose, and behind the nut is a pretty thick washer. Yeah, it's all corroded on there. Let me get my dead blow hammer. I got tools everywhere, guys. I haven't even been home because I've been working a lot lately, and my tools are everywhere, all over the garage. So you got your nut, thick washer, and the hub. That's it. So usually when I'm doing stuff like this, guys, when you take stuff apart, I'll put everything back where it goes, like even the lug nuts and the washers for the studs. Just put everything back where it goes. I took the caliper off and rested it up here with a zip tie off the exhaust. The exhaust that I don't like. Not a big fan of that dual exhaust. The other pipe is damn near touching the nitrogen. Well, it is touching the nitrogen part of the rear shock. I don't know if you guys can see that in the screen, but she is touching. That's, in my mind, all that extra heat from the exhaust is not good for the nitrogen inside the shock. But what do I know? I don't know. Just an assumption. Move you guys over here. Go ahead and do the same thing over here. There's a cotter pin, obviously, that goes through the castle nut for the end of the axle. Do not reuse these guys. They are cheap. You can get them by the hundreds from Harbor Freight or order them online. Don't reuse cotter pins. I mean, unless you absolutely have to and you're out in the woods and you have no choice. You know, you got to do what you got to do, but definitely always use a new one. They're cheap. That's, in my mind, that's a consumable part. That's like reusing oil or something. You just don't do it. They've already been bent, stretched, and all that good stuff, and weakened. Now, if you were just changing your axle carrier on this, guys, you don't need to take off the left hub, but obviously, in my case, what we're doing here now, we're going to need them for the new axle, so we're taking them both off now, just getting it out of the way. Usually these are really corroded and rusty. This is actually, the zinc coating is in really good shape on both sides of these. I'll take you guys off the camera and show you. So usually this stuff's all rusty in here, so you know this quad was taken care of, but here you guys can see the play in there now from this angle. Yes, these carriers are rebuildable just like any other carrier. Knock out the old, take out the seals and the old bearings, put new ones in, new seals, good to go. But all right, so next thing we're gonna do, guys, let's remove our axle nut. I'm gonna try and hold the camera and do this at the same time. I'm sure this hub's I'm gonna have to tap this with the hammer, so I'm gonna put you guys back on the tripod. All right, so now we can remove our rotor and brake rotor hub assembly. Real quick, guys, before I forget, if you're reusing this stock stuff, I don't know yet until we get to putting the Tusk axle on if we're going to be reusing this washer at the very least. Obviously, we're not going to be using the lock nut with the set screws. But if you were just replacing your carrier, this washer that goes between the axle nut and the brake rotor hub, it's concaved. So you got this side is like dished in, and then this side obviously is dished out. You want the dished out part facing the right side of the quad, so the convex side of the washer will be facing us right now, the right side of the quad. So if you are, like I said, just put it exactly how it goes, and then put this in your parts pile to the side. This thing should be free enough for me to pull it off now. Yes, it is. Alright, so this we will be reusing. Now, over here, there's a circlip, so we're going to need to get our circlip pliers and open this up and remove that. Before we do that, though, I'm going to go over there and get our chain, our master link taken off. You could probably just flip it over the sprocket and leave it there, but we'll just go ahead and take the master link out. This way we're not, like, you know, messing with a chain in our way. Also on this side, there's a couple of O-rings. I'll show you when we get to this part how they come out, where they are, all that good stuff. And there's also, I believe, 2 behind the brake caliper stay, or somewhere in here. I think there's like one up in here and then another one that goes around the carrier, but we'll see that when we get to that point. So let me reset you guys up over there, and we'll take the master link off our chain, which you guys probably already know how to do, but this is what we're doing. So, all right, so we've encountered our first problem here doing this, which is not uncommon. What is uncommon is how long it took to run into our first problem. There is no master link on this chain, guys. This is a solid chain. I'd have to look at some markings, but, and I'm probably wrong on this, but this might still be the stock chain from 2013. Yeah, it's definitely not, you know, loose like it should be. It shouldn't hold shape like that when you know, bend it into stuff. So I'll have to order a chain for it. No big deal though. It was fine at the moment. I will order one. You guys know I'm not gonna just run some old shit. So what I'm gonna do is, you got your parts how you adjust the tension of your chain here. I got the 4 pinch bolts, which are 6mm Allen heads. Those are all broke free. So we'll take our Allen key, or you could use a punch or anything that fits in there. Just go ahead and stick it in there, and then we'll roll the carrier counterclockwise to loosen it. You would roll it clockwise to tighten it, obviously. Like I said before, we'll go over chain tension and all that stuff towards the end, but it's 25 to 35 millimeters of play slack with the chain up and down with it jacked up like it is now. But we're going to go ahead and spin this to where the axle goes through. That part is the closest to the front of the quad. That'll give us the most slack with our chain, just like that. I'll take this out, and we'll just slide this puppy on over to the side for now. And I guess I'll be ordering a chain. I think I have one here, but it's for the 465, and I am not stealing parts from that quad for any other quad. We are getting that one done. So, all right, now that that's out of the way, guys, let me go ahead and set these up now in a different location. I'll show you the O-ring that we're going to take out over here, and we're going to get the brake caliper stay off and start pushing this axle out. Then it's all downhill from there. Alrighty, guys, we got our circlip removed. That's what holds on our brake caliper stay. We'll go ahead and get this off here. And a little side note, man, this is a good time when you have all this stuff off of here to clean all this stuff really good. You can't really scrub it as good as, well, at least as good as I'd like to when everything's on the quad. Don't lose this either, guys. This is the cam style sleeve that goes here. That's what this rotates on and slides on as you rotate the axle, since it's off center of the carrier. So that's how you get your chain tightening. But this is what slides there, so you don't want to lose this, otherwise you will have a mean rattle back here when you hit the brakes and you're riding. It'll sound like shit's falling apart, because it is. So we'll leave this here with the stay just like that, and put that to the side. So I got to clean all these parts, like I said. All right, so we've got, well, we're supposed to have an O-ring here in this groove. We're all supposed to have another one at the back, and then there's one in here. If you guys can see that there. I don't know if you can, but there's an O-ring in there. So I'm gonna try and get this out without damaging it. I should probably not be lazy and go get a pick, but I'm gonna go ahead and use a flathead screwdriver and think that's gonna be fine. Holy shit, it was. This one's a little... I'll wipe all the grease off of this and make sure we're not all dry rotted, because I definitely don't have these here. I probably will go ahead and order these if the other aftermarket carrier requires. So, all right, we'll put this to the side with our circlip, and now we can finally push the axle out. All right, now to push our axle out, you never want to just hammer onto the threads on the end of your axle, because you'll mushroom this whole end of this axle, especially with the holes drilled through it for the cotter pin. So I take the nut and put it on backwards, this way we have a nice surface here, and I don't go past the axle, so we're actually hitting the nut. But you want to get it on as far as you can. You don't want to bang on it with just like 2 or 3 threads holding the nut on. So we're going to take a block of wood as well, and we're going to give it a couple whacks, hopefully without damaging anything or breaking our hands. There we go. She something seized in there, came out with the whole carrier. Let me show you guys. I guess we could have, looking back, left our circlip on and then did that, but I don't want to damage anything else. But we are going to need to get that off, guys, because there is a sleeve inside there that we're going to need, unless, I don't know if the new one, oh wow, the new one comes with a sleeve, so we're good to go. Look at that, we could just leave this all just like it is. Actually, no, we can't. I need the sprocket hub off of it. Duh. All right, let me disassemble this and get the parts that we need, guys, and we'll pick back up, start putting the new stuff in. All right, guys, so that is seized on that axle, and I would normally just grind this clip out and get our sprocket hub out, but with the Tusk axle, it comes with the clip for over on the brake rotor side. It does not come with the actually, which one is it here? This is how they got it set up here. So You gotta use your stock C-clip for the sprocket hub, which is exactly what we're having a problem with right now. And the other clip that comes with it goes on the brake hub side with the double locking axle nut that's supplied here. So I'm gonna have to figure that one out. It's gonna take a lot of force, and I'm probably gonna damage shit. What really sucks is I had a box of Raptor 700 that I parted out, and I had a bunch of shit left over that just sat here forever, this being one of them. But guess what? I just got rid of it like 2 months ago, so yay. All right, I will get that off though. I'll figure it out. Maybe I'll position this in the press somehow, and I don't know. I'm gonna have to figure this one out. She's really on there. I was smashing the hell out of it with a sledgehammer trying to get it off. Obviously, I don't want to bang on any of this and bend where the sprocket goes, but what we can do is we can put our new carrier in and get that all set up. Whenever you guys are going to do this, you want to clean this out thoroughly, at least, you know, where the carrier rides, like these two sections here. I have our O-rings swapped over to this one. They were in really good shape, so that's fine there. And anti-seize, hence the reason why that axle's stuck in that carrier. Somebody probably put it in there dry. Not, you know, you don't want to put your shaft in dry. All right, you want to have that thing lubed up, guys. So your axle shaft, obviously. I don't know what you guys are thinking. And I put anti-seize on the you know, indented sections here just to have a little extra. You can't use too much of this stuff, guys. Permatex anti-seize is what I like to use. This little can right here, little jar, whatever you want to call it. But I'm gonna go ahead and slide this in, and it goes just like the other one came out, obviously. Slide this puppy on in there. So we get our anti-seize in there, obviously with our pinch bolts still loose. And you don't want to go railing this in there. You don't want to damage anything. Both, you know, the swing arm and the carrier is aluminum, so you want to just, you know, real gingerly slide her on in. And there we go. And you guys can see how the off-centered part where the axle goes gives you your difference on how you tighten your chain. I'm sure a lot of you guys know that, but some of you watching might not, so that's why I say some of the stuff. I know a lot of you guys know what we're doing here. Don't need nobody to show you. You're just watching for entertainment, but there might be some youngsters. They're going to be the next GarageMCs and whatever you guys are and stuff like that, and they don't know these little things yet. So they probably can't afford $110 an hour at the cycle shop for labor. Shit, I damn near can't. Damn near. Nor would I ever anyway. Anyway, all right. Let me set you guys up. It's just going to be a reversal of what we did. I'm going to put the brake caliper stay on with the circlip. And then off camera, I'm going to try and see if I can get this damn old carrier off there, because we need that sprocket hub. Not to mention, it's getting dark out, it's going to rain, and of course, I decided to do this outside and can't move the quad now till it's put back together. Yeah. Alright guys, it is now the next day. Well, actually, it's the next night. I was going to come out here early this morning. Today's Sunday. I'm still trying to get this video out to you guys today. Trying to stick to a schedule, but it's hard to do, you know? It's hard to do. Waiting on parts and just other things in life and all that stuff. I appreciate a lot of you guys sending out comments, asking me if I'm alive when I don't upload on Sundays, but I'm here, man. Just got other shit going on. But me and Tim went riding today, but not on quads. We went on wave runners out in the Delaware River. So that was fun. A little something different, you know? But all right. Let's get back to what we got going on here. It's almost dark. I gotta hurry up and do this, so we're just gonna breeze through this stuff. I gave you guys the torque specs earlier in the video, and yeah, let's get this thing rolling so we can put this away, because believe it or not, I actually left this outside overnight and all day today. So not what I normally like to do, but anyway. All right, I got all my splines anti-seized. I got our parts ready to go. By the way, that old axle, where is it? Still didn't get the carrier off. How did I get the hub and the ring off? Took about 2 hours to pound that thing down far enough just so I can release the circlip. Where the hell is it? The clip ring right there that's around that for the sprocket hub. So that's where we're going to start. We got to slide our sprocket hub on. Like I said, I already got it all anti-seized and put our ring, and then we could feed it in from the left of the quad to the right and reversal of what we did. So let's get it. All right, guys, you're gonna have to bear with me on the lighting on this one, but I got our sprocket and sprocket hub cleaned up. You guys want to clean this lip up as best as you can, because this is what goes in the grease seal that's on the carrier over there. And you're also going to want to wipe grease a little bit inside the lip there, just to give it something to, you know, you don't same thing, man. You don't want to put a dry grease. Is definitely your friend here, guys. So we're going to slide this onto our axle first on the proper side for it, which I'm going to double check right now. So like I showed you guys before, this is how we're rocking on this here. So we're going to slide our sprocket and sprocket hub on, and then we're going to put our clip and then back the sprocket up to the clip. Once we get it into that groove, slide the axle in, and it's, like I said, just a reversal of what we've already done. So we're just going to breeze through this real quick. So like I said, I got anti-seize on the splines and also the flat spots that meet up with the bearings. We'll get this put on our axle far enough so we can get our lock ring in that little groove there. I don't even know if you guys are in the shot, but pretty sure most of you guys know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to do that now, and then we'll pick up when we go to put this back in. All right, now that our axle is prepped with the sprocket hub and the OEM ring that you're supposed to reuse, take a little bit of grease, and we're just going to lube this puppy up right here. Like I said before, man, you can't use too much of this stuff, guys. If it pushes some out, wipe it off. You're never going to get it dead perfect. And it's perfectly fine. I put anti-seize on the axle for it to mesh with the grease. It's not going to hurt anything. A lot of people just use straight grease on everything. I like to use anti-seize though. It's just a preference thing. So, all right, we got our sprocket hub and the OEM ring in there. So we'll go ahead and feed this in from the left, the left side of the quad to the right. Get her nice and, if she'll go. There we go. Nice tight fit. Yeah, the chain. Okay. Let me go ahead and pull this back out off camera, guys. I gotta fish the chain through. All right, now that we got the chain situation figured out, we can go ahead and move over to putting our brake caliper stay and large circlip back on these items here. Don't forget, we got our little collar that goes on here. As a matter of fact, we'll put a little bit of grease on that as well, just to keep that all nice and lubed up. Don't mind me, guys, I'm trying to hurry up before it gets too dark out here. Oh, we're gonna take a little bit of grease and just put it on this little nipple that comes out of the swing arm here for the brake caliper stay collar. Then we can put our brake caliper stay back on, get it lined up with that collar, and we can get to our circlip. So it's pretty obvious how this goes, guys. Just gets locked into that ring there. I got to get my circlip pliers, so I'm gonna go ahead and install that now. You just expand it and get it in there, and that's what holds everything together. Obviously also, and the pinch bolts that keep it from rotating in the housing here of the swing arm. So let me go ahead and put that on, and then we'll pick up with the next part. All right, guys, we got the circlip in there. You want to make sure that's fully seated into the groove where it's supposed to go. You know, you'll hear it click into place. It's not, sometimes they're a pain in the ass to get off the quad. Definitely want a good pair of circlip pliers. I gotta actually get a new set myself. These ones kind of suck. The nipples on the end of it, this thing here, are kind of worn down. I had to grind them down once, and yeah, they come with extra little tips for it, but I don't know if you guys have seen my garage lately, but you know, you can barely find a damn quad when it's in there, let alone little tiny pieces. But you can actually make a set of those if you wanted to. They're only Allen head, like a 2.5 millimeter Allen head. So all right, so next on goes our brake rotor and brake rotor hub, same as the sprocket hub, with the side that goes into the grease seal here. I got grease on that, same thing, grease inside the grease seal, and anti-seize on the splines. So get that on there like that. Next, we have the double locking axle nut. So this has got two pieces here. So you're going to want to start out with it backed all the way down first. And it goes in only one way. You can see this groove that's cut in here is for the clip that they supply with the axle. It sits in there like that. I mean, I guess you could put it on backwards, but it's, you know, this is how it's supposed to go, just like this. So we'll go ahead and slide this puppy on here, and then slide our clip all the way on. And you usually do this by hand sometimes you can't. This one's kind of tight, so I'll go ahead and see if I can get this on here without scratching shit. Of course not. Alright, let me go ahead and fight with this for a second, guys, and get this clip in this groove, and then we can set our tension here, which I usually just do by hand, put the hubs back on and the wheels, and then I'll piece you guys out. Alright, what a pain in the ass, man. That is one strong ass clip right there. But anyway, alright, so now you want to go ahead and hold on to these two flat spots that come on the inner collar for the lock nut, and then expand them. That's what tightens everything up and get you where you want to be. And I usually set this by hand, guys. Usually try to feel my slack here, and then we'll tighten and check out our chain slack, but we could do that after the wheels and everything are on. I'm gonna go ahead and anti-seize my splines on both sides, put my hubs on, washers, and the new castle nuts that come with the Tusk axle. And I'll show you guys when this thing's back on the ground. Obviously, got to put the caliper back on, but reversal of what we did, guys. Very simple, very, very simple. Good upgrade too for any quad. The way that these Tusk axles are adjustable, which I'm gonna set it all the way in at first. I want to put the hub on first, and then it comes with these two different spacers. So you could either do this much wider on each side, both spacers, or just a small spacer, but whatever one you don't use on the inside, you now move to the outside, then put your castle nut. So I'll show you guys how I do it before I put the wheels and tires back on. Alright, so let's put our hubs on. So like I said, guys, until my front end gets here this week, which will be next weekend's video, as long as I can get time. Like I said, I've been working like crazy, man. It's been insane. But I'm going to set it with the hubs all the way in, just in case I want to go for a ride. I do not like to ride with the rear wheels wider than the front. If not square, I like the front slightly wider than the rear, for a couple reasons. Around here where I live, it's mainly all trails and some of them get tight. So if the front end is wider than the rear slightly, if your front end fits, you know the rear is going to follow. So I don't like to have the rear wider than the front. Plus I think it makes it steer weird, but whatever. So hub first, both spacers, and that's it, man. Put the nut on, and like I said, these get torqued down to at least factory 145 foot-pounds. Pinch bolts, like I said, are 15. Axle nut on a factory axle nut is 170 foot-pounds, and the lug nuts are 32 foot-pounds. Set screws for your stock lock nut, 5.1 foot-pounds. So, all right, let me get the rest of this put back on wheels, and then we'll throw the caliper on, and I'll piece you guys out. All right, guys, so there it is, back on wheels. Like I said, sorry about the lighting, man, but ain't got no choice, and I got work tomorrow, so really have no choice but to sit out here and get bit by mosquitoes. But I spread our brake pads apart, put them back on. I got to put our two 14mm bolts back in. I'm not sure the torque spec on those, so double check with your service manual or whatever type of manual you have. I usually just, you know, do it by feel. But yeah, after you do that, guys, and you put it on before you go ride, pump your brakes first, because if you just jump on it and go ride, the first time you step on the brakes, it's just going to push them closer, and then it'll grip it. So, you know, you don't want to get caught with your pants down thinking you got brakes when you don't. But I hope this was helpful to one of you guys. If not, hope it was just something cool to watch for a little bit. And I'll see you guys in the garage next time when we do the A-arms on the front of this. Oh, and I told you I'd show you some of the stuff we got. I'm not going to show you everything, but there's a pile of stuff here that we got to do to this thing. A lot more came in since the YFZ showed up. We got piles of stuff. Yes, those are some 2022 YFZ 450 front shocks, with the little blue, you know, adjustment ring on there. So, you know, it's got to match, got to coordinate, you know what I mean? So that's not going back on. You guys will see what we got for this there. A new oil change, clutches in there, new air filter, engine ice. I already put the oversized rad on. You guys will see that in the long form video. And yeah, drop a comment, man, if you don't know. I read and answer every single one of my comments. I do not just hit you with a thumbs up. Yes, I'm dripping in sweat. And, you know, be sure to subscribe and comment and like and share and whatever other huge list of shit people expect everybody that watches their videos to do. Go ahead and do that, or one of them, whatever. Don't really care. And I'll see you guys in the garage next time, man. Thanks for watching. Peace!